We are live, so hi guys and welcome to Get Reviews and to this very interesting topic, I should say, of men and women in dating. So we are going to discuss very interesting topics and we do have some questions. So yeah, Kevin?
Hey.
What's
I'm
up,
here.
Kevin?
Not much. How you doing today?
Well, it's a off day. I mean, it's not a working day today, so I'm very happy.
You should always be happy when it's not a working day.
Absolutely. So Kevin, you started this topic and it was very interesting. I watched your whole video about it. So just tell the viewers how this everything started with your friend and all of this.
Well, it started with my friend. He does YouTube videos too. His name's Steven Rose. He's been doing these little real women, like, real guys dating asshole, like, do women date assholes? Because he's a nice guy. He doesn't get a lot of relationships, and he just wants to know why. I mean, he's from Houston, Texas, in the States, and a lot of it's just kind of him trying to figure out, like, why women go for the bad boys, the mysterious guys, and everything like that. So when I saw his video, I was just basically giving my 2 cents to it, and he was talking about how women go to bars and they have guys buy their drinks and things like that. So I basically was just voicing my opinion, and that's how we came here.
Well, I personally don't really agree about that. Women go for the bad boys. I mean, the only women that will go for the bad boy is bad women. So you have to know your interests, so to speak, and what to tell you. I mean, if you're a good girl, you want to have a good guy, because if you have a good guy, you will be more of a match. And if you have a bad boy, you're just going to be in a world of trouble. And I mean, smart girls and real girls just don't want that. They don't want to deal with that. So yeah, life is full of stupid stuff enough. So you can have a bad partner as well. So the problem is that not every guy is a good guy, not every girl is a good girl. So he just has to forget about a certain type and just look for the normal type.
Well, I mean, let me ask you, I mean, I don't know how everybody acts up there in Bulgaria, but here in the States, in particular where we're from, because we're both from southern regions of the United States, like the southern states, and the girls here do tend to love drama. They tend to like the guys who are always in trouble, or the guy that their parent doesn't like, or that their family doesn't like. And I have a friend here who I've been friends with for a long time, and she always dates the wrong guy all the time. And I asked her one time, I said, so why do you date guys like this? Why don't you date a good guy? And she says, well, I want to change that bad guy into a good guy. And I said, well, if you date a good guy, it's fine. And she tells me, well, dating a good guy is boring, but changing a bad guy into the guy that you want is better, because he'll have both exteriors.
Well, that's stupid for me.
Yeah, I know.
That's idiotic, even, because what the heck, it means to be boring if you have, a good relationship, that you don't have fights, or, you can have like little arguments from time to time. Sorry, I have to drink water, I think. I mean, this is harmony. This is good. It's not boring. It's just ridiculous. I mean, those women that say this, they didn't have any real relationship through all their lives. All they know is like conflict and negative stuff. That is how it looks, because she doesn't know what she could actually have if she can just go for the normal guy for once. And if she wants some kind of a thrill or something, well, that's another topic. But this cannot be for the long haul. I mean, this only can be like for months. I mean, a brief relationship if she really wants to experiment. But overall, as for a serious, relationship, it's just stupid and it won't last. Opposites are not meant to be together. They're meant to attract to each other for a brief moment of time, and then it's just like everything is burned out and it's over.
Yeah, like let me ask you, what kind of I know you're in a relationship now, but what kind of guy do you particularly like, or what kind of guy do you particularly go for?
Well, yeah, the good guy. I mean, someone that is very close to me, in taste. Is just somebody that is going to meet my standards, you can say, as much as possible in terms of a person and looks, and mostly, way of thinking, way of feeling. Not somebody that will like sit and be like, yeah, I'm talking to him, but he's like, what? I mean, somebody that is maybe you can say the male version of me. in a way. We can't be the same, of course, but very, very close, like 95%. So basically that's it, because when I was younger I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend actually, that was very different, and he was the bad boy. Oh, what the heck happened with the camera?
I have no idea. It just says XSplit broadcast.
Yeah, XSplit is doing bad things today, I think, for some reason.
Well, let me. The woman that I've been with for the longest time, who I'm married to, she and me have tons of stuff in common, and the things that we don't have in common, we teach each other. Like if there's some, for a while there, she didn't like shooting guns. She didn't like doing martial arts and boxing. But now that I've actually shown her stuff like that and going to work out, now she's hooked on that. And there's some things that she does that I didn't like before. I didn't like traveling before. Now I love it. I mean, there's things with a man and a woman, you have to have, I agree with you, you have to have a lot in common. But if you do have a little things that are not in common, you can teach each other. Yeah,
of course, if both guys and both of you want to learn and have an open mind at least to try.
Well, I think what the problem is for my friend who does these videos on here, he does all these videos talking about men dating assholes and women dating assholes, excuse me. And,
yeah.
That's possible too. Yeah, I'm sure that's possible too. But women, he talks about how these women dates these guys, and I don't know if that's how the girls are in his state. I don't know if that's how they are or not. But he talked about that he went to a bar one night and he saw a bunch of guys paying drinks for these women, and I was basically explaining to him, well, I worked in security for a long time, and I've worked at bars, I've seen women do it, but here's the thing, I look at it like this: if you are a guy and you're dumb enough to fall for it, and you see, that's the one thing about women, most women, I'm not saying majority, but some can use their sex appeal to get what they want. And if you see a beautiful woman, of course you want to impress her. You want to go, hey, look, I can buy you a drink, But I look at it like this: a real woman, an independent woman, will go out and get it herself.
Yeah, of course. But most girls that are normal and okay in the head, they won't even go to a bar to pick up guys or to look for anything serious there. So most girls that are going there, first, they are not serious. They are not looking for something serious. And they are not the girl for you. If you expect to find a good girl there, you probably won't find that, because it's just not in good girl's nature to go and look for any relationship there. So it's just illogical for him, to expect anything good, coming from there.
Do you think the internet and these dating sites have messed up relationships for people?
Well, Not really. It's a matter of luck. It's a matter of, each person, how you look for things on the internet, how careful you are, and so on. Because there's like a lot of people that just don't know how to look for people. There are girls and guys that just, like, if somebody just looking good, yeah, I'm going to, write with them, and they're going to say one or two things that are usually, alarming, but you're just going to say like, oh, that's maybe not what it looks like, but it's usually what it looks like. So, I mean, most guys or girls just don't like look at the little things, and it's the ultimate what makes so many to be not successful, because they just don't know what to look for, that they just don't think it through. They just like go for it every time. And it's like, if you don't have like compatibility, like nothing in common, like you said, at all, you're not going to have any good relationship with this person. I mean, you're going to have an argument for every little thing. Don't even talk about the serious things. Of course, not in the beginning. You don't have to talk about that in the beginning. But if you are in the relationship, you're not talking about it. And what the heck is going on here? I mean, about whether or not you want kids or you don't want kids, or what do you think about that in general? I mean, nobody talks about that, and all of a sudden you're like in a relationship for 3 years, and the other person next to you is like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, or did I say that I don't want kids ever, or do that I want but you don't, and like stuff like that are obvious, and you have to talk about it, but people just don't talk, and that's another problem. Yeah,
I agree with that. People do not talk, and we have, like I said, me and my wife, we have friends here who are, when they're in relationships, they will come to us for advice. We'll give it to them, but they do the exact opposite, and then they'll go and they'll fight more with their opposite person, and we're just like, all you have to do is, if there's any trouble between me and her, what we usually do is we'll throw it all on the table. Like, okay, what's our problem? Put it on the table. We'll talk about it. No matter if it hurts or not, you talk about it. And I mean, that's just how you're supposed to do it. And if you talk about it, you can come up with a solution. You can say your sorries. You can get over it and just move on with the rest of your day. I think people just want to keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And I understand that fighting in a relationship is healthy.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I definitely disagree that it's healthy. What you're doing is healthy. Fighting is not healthy.
Well, no, okay. I mean, having disagreements every now and then is healthy. I mean, you can have a little disagreement, but you can turn it into actually turn it into a joke too. And that's sometimes what me and my wife does. We'll have like a little disagreement, and then afterwards we start laughing because we're like, what the hell do we have a disagreement about? I was like, I have no idea. And I mean, I feel bad for guys like this because, he is a good guy. But, I think the problem is that he's trying too much. And when you try too much, you need to. I basically told him, this is what happened to me one time. I actually was engaged to be married at the age of 19. I made a stupid mistake back then, and when I got burnt for it, what I did was, I'm not sure about your past, but with mine, what I did was I stayed single for about 2 years, and I basically went on dates with all different type of girls because I wanted to know what it was that I was attracted to. What am I looking for before I actually get into a serious relationship?
Yeah, of course.
So I went out on a couple of dates. I got to know people, and I'm like, what do I look for? And I found it but not really looking. It happens.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Well, you did good. I mean, that's what you're supposed to be doing, but what irritates me is, how your friend is. I mean, how and what he is experiencing, because he's kind of doing the wrong thing. I mean, he's looking the wrong way for girls. He's not supposed to be doing that. I mean, not the places that he looks for, not anything like that. He just, maybe he has to try internet dating, but you know, he has to list all the things that he's into and everything that he likes, you know, his likes and dislikes. And if he finds somebody with similar stuff, they could chat first and then meet if everything is okay. So that's it. But going on a club or a bar or something like that to look for anyone, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, nobody is there for a serious relationship, as far as, you know, I know. As far as I think actually that this is not a matter of a country. It's, yeah, everywhere is like that.
I mean, what?
Unless wait a second, unless it's one of those clubs that are particularly, you know, reserved for those dating shows that, you know, you have a 5 minutes on the table with a different person. I mean, every 5 minutes is, you know, a different person. That's called speed dating. Yeah, except some people really found, you know, someone this way. So that's another way.
I mean, what attracted you to your guy?
Well, first, Zena. You know, just because we met because of Zena. I told that story like 100 times, but with 2 words. He was looking through a site, something about Zena. I was doing the same, and I was like, oh, here's a Zena fan. You can come to my forum, because I had the Zena forum at that time. And he was like, okay. And then we, you know, start chatting on Skype. And at the time I was with my, you know, previous boyfriend, but it didn't matter because we just talking about Zena and stuff and just sharing, just like 2 girlfriends actually would do. And yeah, we just had everything in common. And after we broke up with my previous boyfriend, we just met 1 month later. And things kind of, you know, started from there. Like it was like magic or something. Yeah, for him at least, he said that it was love from first sight. Like literally, he was yeah. I always ask him for that, and I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay. But I was hurting at that time, so I couldn't experience that, you know, pure fascinating feeling of falling in love again. So I took a bit more time because I want to make sure, you know, I wanted to make sure that he's okay in many ways. And then, you know, I allowed myself to feel more again. But it was very natural, so I didn't really had, you know, any reasons to stop me or anything like that. Everything was very natural. So yeah, but as you said, I also didn't look for anything. It just happened completely out of the blue, you can say.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say for guys who were good guys before, but it turned into assholes because they dated bad girls?
Yeah, well, that's the same thing. I mean, good guys going to, you know, go to look for a girl the wrong way, and they go for the looks instead of something else. And yeah, some girls that are looking good have very, you know, high self-esteem, and they are basically bitches. I mean, some girls, of course, not everybody. And they're doing what they want. I mean, I had personally a friend like that was, you know, she basically got a very good guy, and he was so in love with her. And from the outside, it's totally different, because it looks like, because I know her, that she doesn't have anything to offer him in terms of personality, character, you know, qualities, anything, just, you know, looks. And he's like so in love with her because of her looks. And then, you know, a couple of months later, she's just banging with everybody. And he's going around and crying everywhere to everybody. And yeah, after that, he was alone for maybe 3 years. He couldn't find any girlfriend. He was so like devastated. He didn't become like a bad guy, but he did become a bit like jaded, you know. So that wasn't good at all. Yeah.
So what do you, from a woman's point of view, what do you think women look for in a relationship?
Well, it's a different it's really different because everybody is different. Depends on how smart you are on the matter. I mean, most girls, yeah, they just don't know what they're looking for. I mean, they just want some guy to treat them right and so on. Not everybody look for, the financial standpoint of it. Some people just don't care about that. Me too, in that number as well. In that same space. But I mean, there are so many different girls that I also know throughout my life, and mostly what is happening is that they just have no brain about this. Unfortunately, they're just like somebody is paying attention to them, and they're like, oh, okay, well, he's not really my type, but okay. And so before you know it, they already have a baby 1 year later at a very young age.
Yeah.
Their life is totally messed up, and like now we can't really go out and see each other because they're always with the babies, or they always go out with other people that also have babies just because they have babies, so they can get together. But the other people that didn't screw their lives, like me and some of my other friends, we are like ignored because we don't have babies now. And so on. And their men are terrible. They treat them like they're nothing. They're extremely sexist towards them. They want somebody to cook for them. They want somebody to be their slave, basically. And it's just disgusting to look at from a side. So I have terrible examples. What to tell you?
Most women are different than others. I agree with that. I mean, now, I think the 3 keys to a relationship, and this is just me, is you have to learn to communicate. That's the main thing. 2, you have to learn to pick your battles. And 3, if you can hold a conversation with a woman, you're in. If you can hold a conversation for a long period of time and you just talk about anything and everything, then you have a woman's attention. Because they have the old saying that a lot of times women can be smarter than men. Because as my wife puts it, men can only think with one head at a time.
That's interesting.
That's a little joke on that one. But I mean, I have a bunch of guy buddies here, and all they want to do is be macho and see who can punch the best, who can do this the best, who can lift the heaviest. And I mean, I'm the kind of person where I'm just like, I don't care. I mean, because there's always going to be somebody better than you. You have to accept that. I mean, that's just, you might be really good at something, but there's somebody that's better than you. But, the one thing I did tell my friend on here who does these videos is I told him, I'm like, you have to ask these women what they want. You have to realize what you want. Because what you want and what that girl wants, if it's different, it's not going to work.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That's just how it is. It's not going to work. I mean, I think there's a lot of times I think he's trying to act like the smooth a-hole now. He's trying to act like a little small asshole now and seeing if that's what the girls want and everything like that. Now, let me ask you, does looks matter?
Oh, yeah. It matters. I mean, they matter. For some girls, they do some standards, but it's mostly like if the guy is acting very good and they are ready to overlook that. I mean, we are all ready to overlook that to a certain extent, but with my first serious boyfriend, I did that, and I wasn't right to do that. I mean, I shouldn't have done that because he wasn't for me for so many different reasons, and yeah. He didn't deserve, for me to overlook that, definitely. Because when you are a certain person, like me, that, appearance has very has importance, not only because your health, but just because of you, to respect your body and everything, yourself in general. And if he doesn't have that mentality, he's not worth my attention in a romantic way. For me, that's that. So yeah. So, and in general, I mean, he didn't prove to be anything else. I mean, his personality and character and what he showed, and why we eventually broke up, how everything went down, prove that he definitely didn't deserve anything. For me, that big of a compromise. Not that he was ugly or something like that, no, but he was totally different mentality in that direction, and even I could beat him up, and very easily at that. So that's not good.
Well, I mean, I can see why looks do matter, but I also have the saying too that, and this is for the guys mostly, you might see that beautiful, sexy woman walking by you, but her personality could be that of a pea.
Yeah.
Then you can see a heavier set girl walk by, could be just as pretty, but she can have the same exact personality as you. And I mean, sometimes you just have to understand that it may not be what you want in your head and mentally, but if the girl is there and she likes the same stuff that you do, she's got the same personality as you do, you should go for it. Because, I always say that the one person who's supposed to be in your life might be right there at a coffee shop. That she might be the one that bumps into you accidentally. You never know. You never know. And that's just how. But the problem is, I think the media, I mean, I don't know how Bulgaria media does stuff, but here in the States, they always do these shows and they portray that this is what women want. They want the Magic Mike looking guys. And then they'll portray this is what the men want, and they'll have all these super hot bikini models. And and it makes and that can make people feel insecure because they feel like they have to go and they have to look like this in order to get somebody. Now, I have a friend who I've known for a long time who's got the Magic Mike kind of body, but he's still single. And the reason why he's still single is because these girls' personalities are like a pea.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is, he went on one date. He went on a date with this one girl. I thought she was pretty, even though she was a heavier set girl. I thought she was a beautiful girl. The problem was, because she's heavier set and he's good looking, he didn't think that it would work. And he just kept ditching her for these like two-pick girls. And these two-pick girls didn't give a shit. Because I mean, like, here where I'm from, sometimes they kind of look at it like they can do better than you. And if they feel like they can get somebody like more attractive than you, they will. And I think that's some of the stuff that the United States faces around here. I mean, I don't know how Bulgaria is. I'm just...
Well, it's different. What to tell you? I mean, all my girlfriends are married or dating guys that are overweight or just not attractive at all. And they like overlook that totally. And they don't even have a reason to do that because, like I said, they have terrible personalities. But just because the way that they did stupid stuff and made stupid decisions, everything happened just because the attention that they, initially received from them, which is also extremely stupid. But yeah, I mean, everything that you said is, I know that, I mean, things are like that. I don't think that your friend did right by this girl. I mean, he could at least, give it a try in terms of, to see if they have the same taste. Even if they become friends, it's still good. he, should at least give it a try a bit. But everybody has some kind of a preferences, so yeah, we can't just keep beyond. I mean, like, forget about that totally. You have to have some kind of a standards, but in the same time, it's very, it's a unique situation, because if a person doesn't, take care of themselves, is that because some kind of a health problem, or is it because their character? If it is because their character, it's bad and it doesn't speak good for them. So it's very different, yeah.
I mean, we have two friends here who are married also, and we both love them to death. I mean, I get along with them. My wife gets along with them. The problem is, his wife is such a sweetheart. She's really nice. She's pretty, but she doesn't always, in his eyes, she doesn't always dress revealing. Sometimes she doesn't dress sexy enough, because she's always wearing like t-shirts and jeans and a hoodie. I guess he doesn't find that
very attractive.
Very attractive. But she is, she's insecure about some things, because she was married once and her husband left her for another guy. So she's a little insecure. And
her husband, wait a second, her husband left her because another guy.
Yeah, her first husband. Yeah, left her for another guy.
For a guy.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, and now that she's married to our friend, now, I mean, I like him I mean, like, I love him, but he's such an idiot sometimes, because he's like this, like, he basically looks at it like, you have to accept the girl for who she is, too. I mean, is it nice to role play, or is it nice to mention some stuff about, hey, it would be nice? Yes, but you have to go about it a different way. And he's like very blunt with it, and he's basically always kind of acts like a prick at times. And when he acts like a prick, he does it when women are around. Like I'm gonna say for example, you were in the States visiting. If he saw you, and he saw my wife, and he saw his wife and another girl, if there's other guys in the room, he will act like the biggest asshole just to impress every last one of you.
That's ridiculous.
Because he wants to be the center of attention.
He has problems. That's another topic.
Right. I mean, like, now if it's just me and him and the guys, he's not like that at all. It's basically like, yo, what's up, guy? What's up, dudes? Yeah, let's go do this. Let's go play COD, and let's do this, let's do that. As soon as he sees a female around, he becomes an automatic asshole to us guys. Like an automatic switch comes on.
Oh boy. Well, he has complexes, to say the least.
Well, yeah.
Insecurities. Yeah, well, what's there about a person like that? I mean, he doesn't know what he has. I mean, he doesn't appreciate what he has. And if they have such problems, I mean, if that is a problem, they should talk about it. I mean, if she wants to dress differently, and also the question is also, what is he doing to, look good for her as well? Because both parties have to try, not only one party, not only the woman has to try to be sexy or something. They both have to be equally. So they have to talk about that.
I have to be honest with you. The one thing I love about her to him is that she loves him for whatever he looks like, and she's like, But he'll if she goes to the gym, he'll say, "Hey, you need to wear yoga pants. You need to wear some of the yoga pants." And it's basically, it makes her feel insecure, because he's like, "Okay, so you want me to look a certain way, then why don't you just say so?" I mean, and then he sees my wife sometimes, like, she'll wear like the yoga pants, or she'll wear like the little shorts in the gym and this and that, and he's thinking, well, why can't you do like her, and da da da. And it's just like it becomes a vicious circle when you start comparing Guys, if you're listening, do not compare a girl to another girl. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
It's a no-no. It's very rude, to say the least,
Oh.
and that means that he's a complete ass, and he doesn't appreciate what he has, and he doesn't know how to appreciate it because he just does not appreciate it.
But he seems to be more appreciative of taking all these supplements and getting more muscular, and now he's wanting to beat me because he wants to look more muscular than me now, and just it's just a big
lots of complexes.
Yeah, a lot of complexes there. So I was going to tell you guys, or if you guys who watch, just tell you this right now: if you gotta learn to talk to women, because if you don't, a woman's going to give you, and this is I don't know if you ever seen Dane Cook or not.
Not sure.
The comedian Dane Cook. Well, he did a comedy show where he talked about men and women. And here's the thing: a woman, if she's mad at you, she's going to give you a tic-tac comment. It might be small and subtle. All you got to do is listen, because if you don't listen, it's like a torpedo, and it's going to erupt and it's going to hit you. I mean, if you don't, that's the one thing about men. We have selective. I hate to say it, but we have selective hearing.
Yeah,
we do. I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'll admit I'm guilty of it. I mean, like, I'll like halfway hear, and then I always try to look for one or two main words in the sentence. But she always knows I'm, like, if I'm not paying attention or not. But I actually agree with you on one thing. If you're going to look for a guy, if you're going to look for a girl, do not go to a bar. Don't go to a nightclub. You can go to a coffee shop. You can go to the park. You can go anywhere else but there.
Oh yeah. Although the park things and the coffee shop things, those were popular approach places when my mom was my age. But now is like, if somebody approaches me at the park or something, I'm going to think that guy is creepy as hell.
Yeah.
So it's not like times hasn't changed, because they are. So better on the internet, but of course be very, very, very careful, and always meet. If you have to meet, at a very public place.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That you know very well, and you know where the transport is. If you didn't come with a car, or if you did come with a car, make sure that he doesn't know where you live. Also, at least the first, they will get to know him, because some people just don't care. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going at my place for the first time with a guy, and he's like knows where you live now. So it's so not okay. I mean, that's dangerous. And there are like a ton of guys that make look normal at first, but they're not. They're just pretending to be normal. So you have to be very, very, very careful. And that is, goes for guys as well. But of course, for guys, it's not as dangerous. Although there are like a ton of crazy women out there, but it's not as dangerous. But still, all people should be very careful and not tell the other person where you live and so on. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, you definitely want, because when you're meeting someone, you're not meeting them, you're meeting their representative. You're not meeting them fully yet, because they don't know you and you don't know them. So naturally, it becomes a little bit of a little problem there. You just have to make sure that you're meeting the right person. I mean, even if you have to email them and text them a little bit, what you could do is you can meet at a nice place where it's public, talk to each other for a little bit. If you're still not comfortable, keep doing that. Tell the person, be communicative, tell the person, look, I'm just not comfortable yet going on an actual date with you yet. Let's just have coffee in a park. Let's talk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can easily do that, and so you know for sure. But the problem is with people in this world nowadays, they're so desperate to find anybody. They'll find anybody, and they'll just go with it. And a lot of times you have young pregnancies, girls getting pregnant at 13, 12, like 13, 15, 16. And then you have like women out there with a bunch of kids, and the guys are like not even a part of their lives, and it's just
It's overall very bad.
You gotta be smart with it. Now let me ask you, now when you talk about these guys that your friends have dated, have they ever tried to come on to you behind the scenes?
Not exactly. I mean, there was one case where we were sitting all in a coffee shop, and one of the guys were just looking at my boobs the whole time. So that was just it. In general, they don't like me because I always tell them what I think, and I just don't care. And we reach a point now that when we meet, we just don't talk to each other at all. And they don't even say hi. And they just stop to say hi, not only to me, but some of actually my very best friend. We are like not a very big circle of girls, but I mean, they usually don't have any very good upbringing, you can say. They just don't have any manners. So they don't say hi, they don't say bye, they don't say anything. They just don't acknowledge that you're there. But they're also sexist like that. So that's another thing.
Do you think that men who are like that, do you think they get it because their fathers might have been like that, or do you think they may not have a guy in their, like a father figure in their life, that they think that's okay to talk to a woman like that?
Oh, definitely the fathers are to blame, because I know how is the situation there, and they're almost barbaric in a way. That is what happens, not to everybody, but for, you can say that for some guys that are not from the big cities. They're not from the capital, so they're basically like village people in mentality, and they still have some old understandings. They still live like in a early 20th century or something. So they think that the woman is obligated to do everything for them, and they can do absolutely nothing. If they want to, just because they want to, if they want to, but they're not obligated to do anything. Yeah, and to act normal even.
Do you think it's harmless, like if a female has a guy friend, but they're both in relationships, or they're both married, or they're both in relationships? Do you think it's normal for two friends to flirt with each other a little bit?
Well, what to tell you? It depends. I mean, if you're not in a good relationship, if this relationship is damaging to you and to your feeling of self, because that is what is happening, you just have to quit it. No matter if you have a kid or not, just figure out some kind of a way to separate from that guy and only see him because of the kid from time to time. But do not compromise yourself for this, and do not go to cheat, because it's not really, it's complicated, because if you are in a super bad relationship like they are, and if you go to cheat, I mean, it's kind of pointless. You just destroy this relationship, quit this relationship, and then go and do whatever you like. It's already cheating. The fact that you're so further apart and you're so different, it's already cheating to the relationship. And this union is just like broken, so you just better quit it. I mean, so many people are in relationship most of their lives, super bad relationship, just because they think that that's okay, but it's not. And I keep telling my girlfriends to find some kind of way to quit that until they're young, until it's time, and they're going to find someone else, I'm sure of it. And they're like, oh, we're never going to find someone else. And I'm like, why? I mean, what's the reason to think like that? It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's like afraid. They're afraid from the unknown, but it's better to be, without a guy, because that's, those guys are not guys. They're just like animals. So basically, you're far better alone in any case. And they're definitely going to find somebody. So you don't have to settle for the second best or third best or fourth best. You have to always, search for the first the person that is for you, and not to be all like I forgot the word, but you don't have to look only to the surface, because that is what your guys that you're telling me about, that is what they're doing. They're just looking from the surface. They're not trying to look really down in that person's character and attributes and qualities. And because they're always looking on the surface, how they look mostly, that's why is all that disappointment and all of those things. Because of course that you're going to be disappointed if you only look for that, the looks and everything. Everything is connected.
Well, now one question I was given by a subscriber of mine, he was telling me that he's in this relationship with this girl, and I mean, for the most part, everything's good. But the problem is he has a lot of female friends, and sometimes his girlfriend gets a little bit insecure or jealous if like he's talking to some females, or if he basically compliments them, but not in a sexual way, but he goes, hey, you look really pretty today, or that's a really cute dress, or that's a really, if she sees it, she goes ballistic, and it makes her angry because she looks at it like, I should be the only girl you have eyes for, like not your friends. Now he was wondering what he could do to try to get her not to be that way.
Well, first they have to talk about this, and they have to talk about their feelings towards each other. They have to make that clear if he really, really, loves her. And just in general, he has to be honest with her how he looks at things. Is he a monogamous type of a guy? Everything has to be clear, because those are things that are very, very important. Not every guy is monogamous. Not every guy wants to be monogamous. Not every girl wants to be monogamous, So they have to talk about it. And if she wants to be jealous and go crazy every time, that's just not going to happen, because there are other people around. So if you can acknowledge that somebody looks good, that's normal. I mean, you have eyes. So they have to talk about it. And if he's honest, and if he does feel that she has nothing to worry about, she has to calm down and stop, because someday it could be the opposite. It could be, somebody, telling her compliments, and he could be the one that is going to be, irritated by that. But it's not supposed to be that way. If they really have true feelings towards each other, and if they are monogamous, kind of people, they should just talk this out, find understandings about all of those topics. And if they can do that, they have this conversation with the most important things in it, everything is going to be okay. But they have to have this conversation. So what he can do, he has to talk with her about all of this.
Okay. Now, the question for you is what do you find sexy in a guy?
From the physical standpoint, or from... Okay, so... well, I like tall guys with muscles, which you already know. Blonde guys with blue eyes, black hair guys with blue eyes also. With other types of eyes, it doesn't really matter, but I just, prefer blue eyes. But yeah, because my boyfriend now is not with blue eyes, but I don't care about that. But I just prefer that. Okay, so he has to know to take care of himself, of his body. That's the physical part, actually. From the other side, of course, he has to be close to me, his way of thinking, so we can, connect, talk. He has to have the same taste in music, movies, everything in between. I mean, music is not so necessary, but I have that anyway, so it's welcome. It's welcome. And as a, behavior, he has to treat me like an equal, like I'm treating him. So we basically we have to help each other, and do everything, equally, and not, me having to work and do everything after that, homework, and he should not do anything, which of course is not happening. Thankfully, everything is equally, and we are doing everything together. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, good manners, whatever I have, as good quality, possibly, and is very preferably if he has it too, which is very hard to find, but yeah, since I found it, I'm glad.
I think what I find sexy in a woman, physically and mentally. Mentally, I love when a woman is stubborn. I know most men don't, but I do, because I find it, because I'm stubborn too. So I find it, so I understand it. I love a woman who is very compassionate, that speaks her mind. A woman who is independent. She doesn't need you all the time, but when she does need you, you know when to be there. A woman who can carry on a conversation, a woman who takes care of herself, because I'm that way too. I want a woman who can take care of herself. I'm not saying that I don't find other people like that attractive. I'm just saying that I like a woman who's in shape, who takes care of herself, who wants to live a healthy life for a while. I love humor. I love a sense of humor. I love sense of humor in people. As far as attractiveness goes, if they're a brunette, doesn't matter what height, but if they're a brunette and they have nice eyes, they have a nice body, you got my attention. Mm-hmm. And a woman who's tough, and doesn't mind trying new things. If you're like that, if a woman's like that, I'm like, yes.
No, that's very good.
And that's why I'm glad that that's how my wife is. I'm actually glad for that. But I mean, the one thing that a question that was asked to me on my video was, a guy asked me once, how do I let a woman know that they have like a porn addiction, but they want their woman to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. But they're embarrassed, so they don't know how to get her involved. And he was asking me about that. I didn't know how to answer it, so I didn't know if maybe as a woman you might have an insight on how to do it. I mean, how to tell this person.
Oh boy, well, that is like a fetish of some kind.
Yeah.
And he can be honest. I mean, the best thing is to be honest, really, because if you're not honest, this relationship, I mean, this is eventually going to come out. So you're going to just waste your time during the time that it did not come out. And when it finally comes out, the time that you spent between, her knowing that and not knowing that is going to be just wasted. So just, say that, find appropriate time to say that. But what's that? I mean, that is a fetish. Not every girl will share that. So it's a tricky thing, and it's a matter of like a luck if she also likes that or not. So just say that, and if she's not comfortable with that, but she's willing to accept that as something that he enjoys to watch, but if she doesn't want to be a part of it, but she still wants to be with him, he should accept that and move on. But if that is too much of a problem, that she doesn't want to share that with him, if that's too much really of a problem, they maybe shouldn't be together. It depends on how important that is to him and what she responds. So, but he has to try to bring that up as soon as possible, and not to hold it in, because it's obviously something that he has in his mind all the time. So he has to speak his mind, and whatever happens.
Oh, I forgot to add on the sexy part with the females is I actually do I like a woman that loves comics and video games, but I also like a woman that's kind of tomboyish. And she could dress girly at times, but If she wants to put on a pair of gloves, if she wants to go a few rounds, she'll go a few rounds with you. That's something that I find very endearing. I like strong women. Most men are very intimidated by strong women. I'm like, bring it. I love strong women because
Awesome.
I look at it like this: if you're a strong woman, then you can handle your business. You can handle anything that comes your direction. I mean, because I have female friends who had to play Superman too a bunch of times, and a lot of times I don't want to play Superman. I would rather that woman be Wonder Woman and go out there and sling her shield and kick ass on her own without having help to do so. I mean, I'm just gonna let the guys know this. To be honest with you, I'm with a woman like that, and it's the best thing in the world because you don't always have to play Superman. You know, and also a lot of guys don't want to talk about their feelings much. To be honest with you, women love when you're emotional. Women love when you're emotional because because it makes you real. It makes your real feelings, and let her help you sometimes. It's never a weakness to show that you're hurting, because there's some women out there who knows when a guy's hurting, all she wants to do is help.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's one thing I tell people is you just gotta let yourself open. Now, the one big question I have I know the guy who started these videos, I think the one thing he always asks is like, do women find, what's the difference between cockiness and confidence, and are women more attractive to a man who's confident than a man who's not?
The answer is the women are more attracted to guys that are themselves and not trying to be something that they're not trying to be over the top. So of course a man has to have this quality of him that he is aware of himself and he knows how to carry himself, but that it has to come from him and not be artificial and be like, oh yeah, I'm the guy, oh look this, or look that, or look whatever. So a guy has to be himself, and if that self is whatever it is, then that's it. Because like I said, honesty will get you farthest, or you're just going to be brought into reality and realize that you're doing something wrong. So basically just if you're a confident guy and you carry yourself with the way that you feel, with your self-esteem, if you express that in a natural way without being cocky, that is good. And a woman can always tell whether or not the guy is playing it, just being fake or something is obvious. So yeah, no need to do that, to make the effort. Because I also know a lot of guys like that, just like pretending that their phone is ringing and pretending to talk on the phone and pretending to be like, oh yeah, somebody is looking for me, I'm so special now, just to impress everybody. But at the same time, everybody knows that he's only pretending, so it turns into a joke at the end. So just that's stupid.
I mean, I see this happen all the time when I go out to eat. I see two couples don't even have conversations anymore. They're basically on their phones. And I'm sitting there in front of my wife, and we're both talking. And I'm sitting there, we're both looking, we're like, are these people not talking to each other? They're just like on their phones, they're just obsessed with their phones. I look at it like this: if you're on a date, turn your phone off. If you're on a date, turn your phone off. Unless it's an emergency, then it's fine. But I mean, I think the problem is with this guy is that he's dated women, and then all of a sudden they just don't, like, they want to use him for his money. Because he's such a nice guy, he always offers to buy stuff and does this. I mean, basically he's wanting to know, does he have to change some things about himself to get these women not to use him.
Oh yeah, he does. He can't just offer to buy things for people. He has to be respectful of his own money also. So that's ridiculous. I mean, you can't be like, oh yeah, just because you're a girl, I'm going to offer to buy you something now. He's doing that to himself basically. And if he is unfortunate enough to meet, girls that are going to take advantage of that, which I can't really say, but probably most people around him, since he actually noticed it finally. Yeah, he definitely has to stop doing that, and he has to put his foot down and be like, yeah, I'm respecting my own money. I'm not going to offer to pay for anything. It's independent, world now. So what the heck? Some girl can offer to buy him something else too sometimes. So I mean, he has to be, acting like he is acting towards, a guy, even. Not in that, not in the sense that he has to be rude. He just has to be, again, himself. And only if it just depends on the situation, but I'm not imagining that there's going to be a situation that a girl will want something because it's really important, so give me money. You can't be sure, but just in general, he has to just stop that. Because yeah, people are like that. They're going to take advantage of that. If they see you're doing this constantly for like no reason, just doing it. So yeah, he has to change that. Yeah.
Oh, as a woman, do you have a question? Do you have any questions for me to figure out what about the men's psyche?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Let me think, but no, not really.
Women probably already kind of figure us out anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, but first you have to. I mean, everybody has to stop putting men and women in one cube, you can say, because we are all different, and maybe there's like groups of women and guys that do certain things. And like the girls that go to the bars and look for guys there so they can take their money in one way or another. And there's the other girls that just are looking for love on the internet, or just not, but they find it anyway, like I did. It's people are so different, but the main thing is that when you're looking for somebody, don't compromise with yourself. Never. You have to be yourself always. You have to, care for yourself and for your feelings. You have to be, of course, the best and polite person, an email, that you can be, of course, but never compromise yourself, because, many people just go into a relationship and they just are losing themselves, how they were before. They just compromising their personalities, their nature even. So if you in a relationship that the other person is making you feel like you're not yourself anymore, if he's oppressing you in some way, don't just brush it off and say that that's normal, because it's not. If you're not feeling like you're swimming in your own waters, then something is terribly, terribly wrong. You have to talk about it, and if you can't fix it, just leave that guy, no matter what stage of the relationship is. No matter how you try to find a way to get out of that and search for something else. Guys that have this kind of relationship with women that are abusive or something else, they have to try to do that too, because your life is short. So why the hell you're sitting in one place and compromising with yourself all day and every day for something that's just not worth it? I mean, what are you getting from this relationship? You have to ask yourself, what are the positives of these relationships? What are the negatives? Is this worth it overall? And you have to look at your life as, of course, something very, very, very valuable, and you can't just waste it for somebody that doesn't give a crap for you like you give a crap for them. the relationship has to be equal. So if you're giving like 100% of yourself to that person, the other person has to do the same effort for you. If he's not capable of that, you just leave his ass or her ass and continue on your journey, and don't be afraid that you won't find anyone else. Because if you're searching, you will find something, or at least you'll find something that is more worth it than what you had before. So yeah, negative relationships are just poisonous, and it's not worth it. And everyone has to first, look for the qualities in a person, then the outside. So yeah, for the guys especially, I mean, do not jump and do not go in, do not fall for somebody that fast, because sometimes guys just like see a beautiful girl in their eyes that is very beautiful, and they're like, oh yeah, that's my dream girl, and they like start to fantasize all about her, and they don't even know her personality or anything, but they just like start filming themselves, like we like to say here. So just be smart always about it, and don't compromise with yourself, and be respectful, of course. And if you don't get the same respect, just go on your way.
Ladies, if there are any ladies who view these videos, I'm gonna give you guys a little taste here. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Whether or not it hurts the guy's feelings or hurts his ego, don't be afraid to say anything. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Also, for the girls who likes to act trashy and slutty, just to let you know, you're the butt of a lot of guys' jokes. Because there's two different type of girls. There's a girl that you can bring home to mom, and there's a girl that if you wanted to have a wham bam thank you man, you can. And a lot of times guys do look for the girls that they can bring home to mom. Or if you're a type of girl that offers sex on the first night, and majority of times men are not going to turn it down. If they're single and you're single, they're not going to turn it down. And you just have to be more classier for yourself. Be more respectful to yourself. I mean, you could dress sexy but be classy at the same time. The same way men, we could dress, we could look rugged but still dress handsome. You just have to learn how to be yourself. I think that's the main thing that me and you've been saying on here, is that if you be yourself, you're true to yourself. If a person can accept it, then tell them to get the F out. If they can't accept it, then you work on it. I mean, there's some couples who do couples therapy, and some people think that's a sign of weakness. No, it's not. Because sometimes you need, not your friends, but sometimes you need a person who doesn't know you, who can basically tell you, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, and this is what you're doing wrong. And that way you can work on what each other is doing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just want people to know that, you can find somebody good if you just be yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but if somebody doesn't accept you for what you are, yes, you definitely have to go. But the other person doesn't have to try to accept you. They just have to feel that way naturally. If they have to make some kind of an effort, you're probably you're not for each other. So
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it has to be natural. All natural is the only way, because the other things are just forced, and we're just getting to that point of, again, to not be yourself, and the other person not being themselves, or the other person being themselves, which means they're the dominant part, and you're like, under them in some kind of a way. So if you do not have an equal relationship, we better to not have any at all. Do you find that?
Well, before we go, I mean, I do have one good guy friend here who's been single for 3 years, and he tends to like it because he just does not find any girl that meets the qualities that he's looking for. And he's told me on numerous occasions, if I die this way, I'm fine with it. I mean, he's like, he will not date a girl. He will not date any girl unless he knows that girl is true, and unless he knows that girl is being herself.
Yeah.
And if she's not, he will not date. He's been single for 3 years.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I mean, he has to be true to himself, and he is. And if he meets the girl of his dreams soon or later, it's better than if he destroys all his health and nervous system because of other relationships that he could have had during that time, but it's just not worth it anyway. So yeah, he's doing the correct thing, but yeah, what can I tell you? I mean, my boyfriend is the same. He did not pay any attention to anyone else before me, so yeah.
There was something about you that he was attracted to.
Yeah, everything basically.
There you go.
Yeah, so that is how you have to feel in order to, find that real relationship that will last. And because I actually was surprised, when I found out there was still guys like that just want to find that one true relationship. They just don't care about anyone else, because I mean, those guys are just like one in a million, like they say, or even less. I don't know, but it's super rare for somebody to look for, only for that one person. If they see it, they just know it. So that's rare, but that is how he decided to do it, and that is how he succeeded from the first try. Because some people have a lot of relationships and they just don't succeed because they're doing the same mistakes over and over and over again with each of those relationships, and they're like, yeah, relationships cannot last, yeah, we can be this and that. But actually, no, you just run into the same people, the same type of people again, doing the same thing and expecting different results, kind of thing. So just change your mentality and look for what you want. Like, stop and think for the things that you like to have in a person, and just go and try to find that. Just try and just see what happens.
Yeah, I was that guy too, where after I was single for 2 years, me and my wife met as friends first. She was dating some other guy at the time, but it was a love at first sight. Trust me, when I first saw her, I thought she was gorgeous. But I knew that she was in a relationship, and I'm not that kind of person to do something. I was going to wait for him to fuck up. So that's what I did. I waited for him to fuck up, and when he messed up, we got together really quickly, which kind of pissed a lot of people off because they thought I was a rebound. But we've been together for like 10 or 11 years and been married for 5. So I look at it like, hey, you gotta love a person, but you gotta love a crust of somebody. You can't just eat the pizza and not eat the crust. You have to love everything about them. You have to accept the good, you have to accept the bad, and you have to sometimes accept the ugly. And if you do that, you will have a happy, healthy relationship.
Yeah, but again, that has to come from the inside. Right. You don't have to make such an effort for that. It just has to. You have to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to go against yourself to do it, to make that compromise. You can compromise as long as it doesn't, come between you and yourself. I mean, as long as it's not compromising yourself, you have to compromise only to that level, but not any further.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, so your situation is kind of similar to mine. I'm only from the girl side, He's like, the same. I mean, he didn't do anything before that. We're just talking, and then we just decided to meet, and everything happened. And yes, the other guy did screw up, big time. So yeah, it's kind of similar.
Now, I mean, like, I know some guys don't like being in the friend zone, but sometimes your best friend could be the one that you're with.
Yeah, there's a lot of cases like that. Yeah, that is how, actually that's how also how I feel that he's my best friend. Like, absolutely. I can tell you who my best girlfriend is, but that is still my best girlfriend. And my best friend in general is only him, of course.
That's all you got. That's all you people have to do. It's not that hard. Relationship's not an instruction manual. You can easily, it's feeling, it's emotion. It's being true to yourself and respecting yourself and respecting the other person that you're with.
Yeah, don't start also on a lie, like lying from where you're from and all of that, because it's not good. It's going to blow up in your face anyways. So what are you really doing? I mean, if you start a relationship with a lie of some sorts, just be yourself always.
I agree.
Awesome. And actually now I have a good example now. I was able to think of that because I do have a guy friend that it's a lot older. He's 40 years old and he don't have, a girlfriend, a woman, anything, a wife. So he's always like tries to find, he wants to find, but he is sitting at home all day and try to look for sites. He always like look for the younger girls, and I'm like, what the heck are you doing? That's another thing, but my point is that I totally forgot my point. Damn it. Okay, wait a second. It was a very good example, I think. What did he do that was very, telling? Damn it, I totally forgot. Just tell me something and I'm going to think about it.
It's okay.
What did we talk about? Just the last thing. I just lost it.
Like some men or some women stay single for a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. No. Damn it. I can't believe I can't think of that. It was a very good example. Well, for one thing, he's not doing anything, but that's another topic. He just waits, for the woman to fall out of the sky, maybe. Like, fall in his lap magically. And I'm like, no, you have to look for it. You have to make the effort. You have to do all of that. He just not. But yeah, there was something very, very interesting about that. But yeah, sorry, I just totally forgot. Came out of my mind. And we have to end this very, very soon, and I totally forget.
Yeah, well, actually, we can end it now if you want. We pretty much...
Yeah, covered all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's possible to cover, actually. Damn it. I can't think of it. I'm sure it is something very, very that I'm going to think about it the moment that we go off air, but I just can't think of it.
That happens.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you if you can rewind a bit, tell me something that can, make me remember in some ways.
Well, it's just, I was talking about my friend here who's been single for 3 years, and he's very picky about what he wants. And if he doesn't find a girl with that particular qualities, he will stay single for the rest of his life, even if he has to die that way.
Yes, nothing to do with that, actually. He's also very picky. But he's picky. He's like too picky, and like I said, he wants to go for girls in their 20s, like me. And I'm like, what the hell? That's not realistic. And he's not like some kind of a guy that looks like Apollo or something. So that's also the bad approach of things. You have to be realistic. You have to know you know, the age group as well. You can't just look for super younger than you people, because also age gaps are also a factor and they matter. And if you have a very big, age gap between you, that is going to be like something more to divide you, because that person, like, is like, if he has like 10 more years, like one of my girlfriends, her husband now is older than her, I think with 11 years, and that's a big difference. It really is a big difference, because he's already acting like an old guy. Add to the fact that he's a jerk and an idiot, and he doesn't have any manners and all of that, but he's also very, much older than her. So it's two different generations. They don't think the same. They don't like the same things. He's going to, to sleep like at 9 p.m. and all of that, and she wants to go somewhere and party and stuff, for example. So age gap and age difference is also something to have in mind.
Yep, it definitely is. You have to age differences. Now, when you were talking about the kind of guy you're attracted to, is your boyfriend, is he like a tall, muscular guy?
Basically, he's still, trying to build more muscle. And as we go and as we learn more things about how to do that, how to get more defined and all of that, he's trying to do that. And thankfully, he's not one of those guys that gain weight very easily, so he can still eat some kind of waffles or something, and they will not really affect him at all. So that's good. But yeah, he's a very tall guy, and yeah, pretty big overall. He doesn't have any gut or something like that. He doesn't have abs yet, but he does have, good developed shoulders and chest and back. So yeah, we're getting there, and I'm also getting there in my department.
There we go.
Yeah, and the important thing is, to both of us to try to get better and better in every way. So if we want to do that, and if we are working on that, it's all good. You can't, be born with a body like a Greek statue. You have to make it.
Yeah, you can't do the body like the Greek statue. Even though I try to a bunch of times.
No, you can, but it's going to take time, especially that we are doing this naturally. We don't take any artificial stuff, because if you take, enhancements, you can shade all the body fat very fast. All the muscle is going to show. It's going to pop up. It's going to develop at places that you didn't even know you had muscle. But we are doing this the slow and natural way. So you're going to see changes, but they're just going to be very slow. So yeah, but slow but steady, because my dad used to be a bodybuilder, not really so much of a professional one, but he did build a very good body when he was younger, and he did it all naturally. And even now that he doesn't work out anymore, unfortunately, he does keep in shape, but not really, lifting weights. He does have his muscles and his muscle definition. They are smaller, but they are there, He doesn't have the side effects of sagging or something else, or just losing shape, because I did see a lot of guys that, used, what, YouTube doesn't really allow me to say what, but you know what, and they look like bag of meat, like they went totally, because the enhancement destroy their natural muscles and all of that. So when they got off of that, they just went like they're totally different people. You can't even guess that that's the same person now. So all natural all the way in life, and you'll get there.
Agreed.
Okay, Kev, so do you want to say something, like an ending?
Well, I just want to let everybody know that if you want to see more talks like this, we can do that. We can even do about friendship. We could do about all different kinds of stuff with this topic. I mean, that's if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you do have any more questions for anybody, if you have any more questions, you watch this, just, you know, write to her, write to me, and throw out your questions, and we'll answer.
Yeah, we can do like a part 2, answering all the questions that are under the video. And you know, if you upload the video, of course, on your channel, we can collect questions from there, from both sides, and we can use them for the next video. If people are interested, we can, of course, do that again.
Exactly.
Awesome. So thank you, Kev, for this topic. I'm glad that we started this. I mean, that we actually continued this. And I hope that we can help, you know, more people with all of those things in general.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, so guys and girls, hopefully leave your questions under the video. If you have any questions at all, of course, try to be polite. And yeah, till next time with me, Gary G Reviews and Kev's Point of View.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.